Thank you for joining today's 30-day redemption. I am Kashab. Glad to have you all on. I'm going to give it maybe another 2 minutes to get a few other people to come in. Hopefully, this is streaming properly on YouTube. And if anyone has any feedback, um, you can free to put that in the chat section. And we're going to begin in about 2 minutes. Give a few other people a chance to come on and to check out what we're doing. Okay, great. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and queue up my screen um, so that we can all be on the same page and share with you. Done. I'm going to pull up my share my screen with you all.
Oh, I don't know. Shalom, Elder.
Hey, what's up, Magari?
Well, and yourself.
Good, 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 good. So I'm going to get started. Everyone, if you can mute out, and Magari, we'll talk a little bit after. And I'm going to start this presentation. So today we want to discuss a very important topic for day two. And this topic is the topic of visions or visualization or visualization versus vision, um, or visualize versus vision. And it's a very important topic, especially in light of all that's going on right now in the world, specifically this coronavirus. You know, you hear it everywhere. And I wanted to touch on how this information will have an effect on your mind if you don't take into consideration the content. They say content is king, and the content that we're receiving and the content that we're taking in is affecting our subconscious mind. And so I wanted to cover this topic. I want you to pay attention. We have quite a few slides, and I want you to pay attention. I want you to take notes, and I want you to write down some of the information that you see, so that you can put a regimen in place for yourself to help you to deal with the kind of information that is going into your mind. Okay, so welcome to day two, and we're going to proceed with the presentation. So visuals versus vision, what's the difference? Um, they seem so close, and if you kind of don't go into the details or the definitions, you will assume that they're the same thing, but they're not. Okay, very important. So what's the difference? Okay, visuals, they pertain to things outside of the eye. It's what you're taking in, information that is coming in. Okay, so external sources of influence is the visuals. So what does that mean? It's all of the things that you see from the outside that has an influence on the retina of your eye, and then the influence on your mind and the influence on your subconscious. So these are external sources of influence. Vision As it says, there's something seen in the imagination or in the supernatural. So this is an internal source of inspiration. Okay. Um, Sometimes people say, I want to know what's going on inside your head. I want to know what you think. Um, or another example of vision is dreams. Okay. Dreams are important because sometimes dreams give you premonition of things that have not happened yet. Um, you'll have people that say, "Yeah, I had a dream about fish." Especially some of people of from the South, or some people from the Caribbean, or maybe even from Africa. They would say, "Yeah, I had a dream about fish," and so that means that gonna someone is going to have a baby, and most times they're right, especially some of the old school women. They'll have a dream about fish, and they're like, someone close to me is pregnant. And it's accurate. So how does this vision, aka a dream, give you premonition of something that's supposed to happen? Because this is something that's coming from an internal source of inspiration. This was not inspired by something you've seen. You didn't see the belly, but you see the fish, and the connection between the fish and the belly is, for whatever reason, that means someone is going to have a baby. Okay. So again, visions are coming from an internal versus visual, which is coming from an external source of inspiration. So who's fighting for the influence on what you visualize? What are the sources? Okay. The sources are television, of course. They're fighting for your attention. They're fighting for real estate in your mind. Television companies are fighting for real estate in your brain. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, they're fighting for real estate in your brain. Now, one thing I know about real estate is you usually pay either a mortgage or rent. Television, social media, smartphones, billboards are taking up real estate in your mind, and they're doing it for free. And not only are they doing it for free, but then they influence you to make decisions to pay other people. So here's the example: you pay to have internet, you pay to have a smartphone, you pay to have access to um, cable. You're paying for people to have real estate in your mind, and then the influence of the content from the real estate in your mind makes you go and spend money with other people. So you are technically getting the dirty end of the stick, because you're not being paid to take in this content, and then you're paying from the influence. So these people are fighting for real estate or space in your mind to influence your actions. And they're coming in through television, social media, smartphones, billboard, touch screens, um, other people. People want to have a conversation with you, whether it's online, at work, a stranger. And they also want to have and take up some real estate. They may have information that they want to share. They may have your opinion that they require. They may want your presence at an event. Okay. People are sent to influence. Celebrities are sent to influence. Products, people are pitching products that want your attention. Okay. Um, Places, etc., etc. Okay. Visual content steers your behavior. We know that. In the 90s, for some of those who are from New York, before they had BET that was really doing well. In New York, we had the video music box. You come home and you turn on to watch video music box, and it's taking you into a whole world that you don't even know exists. Okay. And as it takes you into this world, you then begin to desire that world. So, what do they say? They say it's either art imitating life or life imitating art. Are we the ones that created the scenes that they have in the music videos? Or did the music videos create our reality because we're influenced by it? And so, if you look at the history from the 90s, let's say 1990 to 2000, whatever was going on with that music, cross colors, uh, Kwame with the polka dots, whatever was going on with music, Jerbo jeans, whatever was going on with music was going on with us. Whatever was going on with us was going on with music. 2000 or late 90s, 96 to 2000, let's say to maybe, yeah, let's say 96 to 2000, there was a shift in the music. You have in rap space, you have P. Diddy, and P. Diddy is coming out with, the music talking about kind of a flashy lifestyle. And you have Biggie and those artists coming out with a really flashy lifestyle. And so what happens? Everyone is trying to have a flashy lifestyle. Um, you fast forward 2010, you have the auto tunes, and from 2010 to now, it's been a whole skinny jeans, weirdo culture they call it, and all of this other type of stuff, and that has an influence on buying habits. It has an influence on um, what people are desiring, both products, both services, the tattoos on the neck, the tattoos on the face. The artist puts a tattoo in the middle of his forehead. You put a tattoo in the middle of your forehead. So we know that visual content steers behavior. When we were younger and they had the Jetsons used to show a cartoon with a person talking to a screen and talking to someone remotely. Inspector Gadget showed a guy talking on his watch to someone else. Today, that's a reality. So, cartoons influenced behavior. It influenced people to create the technology that went with the things that they've watched. So, it is very clear that visual content, especially television movies, another example, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of LA, or wherever, all these other places. That has an influence. Basketball players and their lifestyle has an influence. Beyonce has an influence. Jay-Z has an influence. So after they've moved out of the music space, their influence remains. They call it influence over pop culture. So we know that visual content steers behavior. Let's move into something called classical conditioning. All right. There was a gentleman by the name of John Watson who did an experiment, and we're going to take a look at that experiment. I'll kind of let the experiment speak for itself, but the experiment was called the Little Albert experiment. It says here the Little Albert experiment is considered to be amongst the most unethical psychological experiments of all time. The experiment was conducted in 1920 by John Watson and Rosa Lee Rayner at Johns Hopkins University. The hypothesis was that through a series of pairings, they could condition a 9-month-old child to develop an irrational fear. The experiment began by placing a white rat in front of the infant who initially had no fear of the animal. Watson then produced a loud sound by striking a steel bar with a hammer every time little Albert was presented with the rat. After several pairings, the noise, and the presentation of the white rat, the boy began to cry and exhibit signs of fear every time the rat appeared in the room. Watson also created similar condition reflexes with other common animals and objects, rabbits, Santa beard, etc., until Albert feared them all. This study proved that classical conditioning works on humans. One of the most important applications this finding has is that adult fears are often connected to early childhood. Let's take a look at the experiment. And I hope you can hear it.
In the early part of the 20th century, psychologists John Watson and Rosalie Rayner set out to teach a baby boy called Little Albert to fear white rats using the principle of classical conditioning. This is a film of their work. The film shows several phases of their study. First, as you see here,
I'm sorry about that. Let's start that over.
in the early part of the 20th century, psychologists John Watson and Rosalie Rayner set out to teach a baby boy called Little Albert to fear white rats using the principle of classical conditioning. This is a film of their work. The film shows several phases of their study. First, as you see here, the investigators demonstrated that prior to conditioning, Little Albert had no fears of any animals, including, of course, white rats. Watson and Rayner then sought to teach Albert to fear white rats through classical conditioning. In the conditioning phase of the study, which was not filmed, the investigators struck a steel bar with a hammer whenever Albert reached for a rat, making a very loud noise that greatly upset and frightened Albert. After 6 such pairings of the loud noise and the rat, it was believed that the boy had been conditioned to fear white rats. That is, Albert was now expected to react fearfully to white rats, whether the rats were paired with loud noises or not. In this next film sequence, we see Albert interacting with a white rat after the conditioning process. The investigators believed that the child's reaction during this trial demonstrated his newly acquired fear of white rats. Finally, the investigators expected that little Albert's conditioned fear of white rats would generalize to stimuli that were similar in key ways to a white rat. In this film segment, they were trying to demonstrate that the child now also reacted fearfully to similar objects, such as a rabbit, a dog, a furry object, and a white mask worn by Watson himself.
Okay, so you got a chance to see this was in the 1920s. So now we're 100 years later. I'm sure that there has been quite a bit of studies in how to get into the psyche of children, how to get into the psyche of teenagers, how to get into the psyche of adults. And so the development of the various media, television, social media, smartphones, touchscreen, all of these platforms um, are or sources of or tools to be able to put these messages in and to put this conditioning in to get people to behave in predictive ways. Um, so once the social engineers and the politicians understood how to influence behavior using content, they did. So what can they do? Now they could do what? Well, they can manufacture fear. Some of this fear, yes, we have the medical aspect, we have the effect of COVID-19, coronavirus, we have the effects of it. You're not dying, people are not dying straight from COVID-19. People are dying because they're filled with mucus or they have pre-existing conditions. But what is causing this? So you have the virus, they're saying, simultaneously in other media, they're saying, hey, there's 5G being launched, which has its own effects. Then you have the effects of fear and stress, anxiety, because of an external influenced something that you visualized, something that you took into your eyes, something that you took into your ears, something that you saw. There's video floating around of people in bags and bags of people in healthcare facilities, bags and bags of people in trucks. Sure, you have to think, I don't want that to be me, or I don't want that to be anyone that I love. The fear is manufactured before you're actually dealing with the real situation. And some people are having anxiety about it. Okay. Utilizing predictive programming. So now they can utilize and give you movies before, years before. Contagion is one movie, Outbreak is another movie. So your mind has already experienced the fear. And so when the fear comes, it's like deja vu, but your muscle memory is already trembling. You're already playing out the movie in your mind because they've given you the fear in the form of entertainment. Oh, by the way, you paid for that. You paid for the Netflix, or you paid to go to the movies to be afraid. Another example, as we said, we are allowing people to take real estate in our minds, and we're paying for them to get into our minds, to scare us to death, and to program us. Do you own the real estate in your mind, or does someone else own? They call it mind share. How much percentage of your thoughts do you have ownership over? They can also condition your behavior. Hey, it's Black Friday and everything is going to be 50% off. Look at the image to the right. Everyone, there's cleaning off the shelves at Walmart. The shelves are empty. More fear. Yes, they're running out of toilet paper. No one has made the connection between toilet paper and the coronavirus yet. But everyone else is buying toilet paper. I surely don't want to be the one without. They also get to play power and politics, socio-political games. During the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis, there was some recommendations that were made. One of the recommendations that was made on how to justify going into Cuba was that they made the recommendation to John F. Kennedy to take a military plane and paint it as a commuter plane. Take the military plane, paint it as a commuter plane, shoot it down. So it would be an empty plane. Shoot down the plane, and then say the Cubans shot down an American plane with students and Americans on it. Okay, John F. Kennedy didn't go with that recommendation, but it shows you that if the American people hear that through media, that the Cubans shot down one of the American planes with civilians and killed them, that it would justify the United States going to war against Cuba. So they used the media and the content, or they wanted to recommend using the media and the content in order to move public opinion in one direction or another. That's why you'll see on the news and they'll say something like, Trump's ratings, his ratings with the people is at 65% or 55%, because they're taking your pulse. They're checking the metrics. They're checking the emotions. And now with social media, they can get it all the way down to a granular level and know what you personally feel and how you personally score and what you personally like. And so we can just put something on social media and we can see how people respond and get a gauge for their behavior and know what moves them. It could be artificial, it could be predictive, but we have the power of influence and can create and or justify certain political moves based upon the people. When 9/11 happened, they said that in 9/11, when they were showing the bombing of the towers, there was a video shown on the news of various Arab people rejoicing and dancing in the street. One gentleman by the name of William Cooper, who wrote a book called Behold a Pale Horse, he was alive when that happened. And he was known to debunk and to dissect various things that happened. And he said that how could the Arabs be dancing in the street in daylight when it's nighttime over there? But when they showed the clip on the television, if they said that this was a terrorist attack done by Arabs, and then they show Arabs dancing in the street, that will anger you as an American, because how dare they rejoice over such an atrocity? So you have to question everything. Now, I'm not here to judge whether 9/11 was a conspiracy theory, et cetera, et cetera. I'm here to say you have to examine everything and make sure that the content and the real estate that is being used in your mind for free does not cause you to sign off on and or endorse things that will cost you. Digital platforms push for our attention with content specifically tailored to create socio-political influence. What effects does this content have on your body and on your health? We know stress kills. It's a popular term. If you're confined to your home and unable to go along with your daily activity, a few things is happening with your body. Number one, it's a shift. Then you get time to sit. Some of us get time to sit and be productive. Some of us take in more television and more social media and more influence. Some of us sit and worry. For some of the people that are sitting and worry, oh man, I'm an hourly worker, man. I haven't worked in about 2 weeks. My cell phone bill is due. Man, they just hit me with another $35, you know, charge on my bank account. It's already low, but I don't know where I'm going to get my next check from. These things affect your body. Stress kills people. They also use celebrities and influencers and social media people, Jay-Z, LeBron, Michael Jordan. We know Michael Jordan is an influencer, okay? We know that these things are being used, and we know that the desire to have things that you see on television can create an adverse effect, and stress can kill you. Desires can kill you. Feeling inadequate can kill you. And so, what are the options? What are the alternatives? And also, let me go back a little bit and say that um, some of the effects. Let me see if we have that. Some of the effects on your body include stress, includes problems with your liver, includes having to take medication. And here's the funny thing about medication: when they when the doctors prescribe medication, the medication that you're taking for one thing has about six other side effects for other things. Then they give you another medication for the other things to balance you out. And then if that medication has side effects, then they give you another medication. So you'd be like on four medications for one problem because one creates other problems. So, what are the alternatives to taking in content that affects our um, peace of mind, affects our decision making, affects our lives? What are the alternatives to the content? Because it's everywhere. Surely the decision is not that you shouldn't use your phone. You don't have to stay away from Facebook. You don't have to um, not watch television, not enjoy a date to go to movies. You don't have to become totally disconnected. Okay. What are some of the alternatives to a better life? Better content, a better vision. You don't have to be in the environment in order for you to create better content. Just like you don't have to be in the music video for you to be influenced to want that car. Oh, I'm going to get that car. Sometimes you see something on television, you're like, oh man, I like that. I'm going to get that. Sometimes you see something on a billboard and it influences you to get it. So, can you use content, visualize, whether it's external or in your mind, for you to create real estate in your mind for better decisions? Can you give yourself better content for better decision? Here's the funny thing about some of this content that you've taken. If you're taking a vision like the one that we're looking at right now with this water, if you take in a better, if you take in better content, can you now have the ability to make better decisions? Absolutely. The cool thing about this content is that this content will cost you nothing unless you want to travel. But this content can have you desire, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take a walk, get some fresh air. What does that cost you? What does it cost you to get some fresh air? You know what, man, I'm going to go ahead and put that bike together for my daughter. I bought it for her. Man, I was so busy at work. Let me go ahead and put that together and spend some time with the family. Hey, let's go down to the farmer's market, get some food. That might cost you, but that's an investment. Get some food, maybe juice. The better content gives you the chance to have a better life if you are proactive. That's the caveat. Be proactive to seek out better content so that it will give you the inspiration for better decisions. So external gives you influence. External or visualize gives you influence. Visions and internal gives you inspiration. I'm inspired to do and have a better life, to put better content in, and to enjoy uh, doing more with my life instead of watching movies that scare the heck out of me. Create a theater in your mind. Take in good content Good content, good dreams, good notes, good plans. Bad content, bad dreams, bad decisions, bad influence. I knew that social media and content had an effect on me. And I say social media because me personally, I don't watch television like that. I knew that social media had an influence on me when I had a dream that Cardi B was in. And it wasn't an inappropriate dream. I think she was working at a fast food place or something. But what is Cardi B doing in my dream? So the content that you took, and maybe I saw something. Maybe it scrolled along my timeline. Maybe I saw a video, something. But what is she doing in my dream? So the theater of your mind is based upon the content that you deliberately and proactively put into your mind. So we'll look a little bit later on, but you should create a regimen on what are you going to put in today? Because it's not just what you feed your stomach, it's what you feed your brain. What are you going to feed your brain today? The theater of your mind is where you create better decisions. It is where you take ownership of your mental real estate and say, I'm going to renovate, or I'm going to gentrify my thoughts, and I'm going to evict CBS, ABC, Net. I'm evicting all of them. I'm evicting Facebook. I'm evicting everyone. I need 100% of this space in my mind to create the life and to create the influence that I want. I'm taking ownership. Create the reality you want. Use this time, social distancing, shelter in place, quarantine. Use this time at home to learn to shape and sharpen your talents. Use this time at home to connect deeper with your relationships. Work on your communication, work on your art, work on your health, work on yourself. But in order for you to take the action, you have to put the influence or the inspiration from the influence in, so that you can now have that good content in your subconscious. And now you begin to practice healthy habits, healthy relationships. Who do you want to connect with that will influence you or inspire you to be a better person, to live a better life? Okay? Make healthy decisions, create a healthy regimen. We have to do better with the content. Create a dream board, your home. All those old magazines and all those old newspapers, if you have a printer, print out some things. Put a vision together. There's people that are saying dream boards is witchcraft. If dream boards is witchcraft, then what is social media with all them images? It's not witchcraft. It is inspiration. What content can you use to inspire you to see the vision, either externally or internally? Put these things into your mind so that you are inspired to create something, and it begins to work on your subconscious mind, on your spirit, to move in a direction. If a dream board is witchcraft, so is Instagram and any other vision that is contrary. It's not witchcraft. It is a way of inspiring yourself to be deliberate about the content and be deliberate about the decisions you're making. So make mentally healthy decisions. Create a healthy regimen. What's a healthy regimen? More love. Love is an inspiration. Love is a healer. Find someone or something to love, a child, a mate, yourself. Yourself is probably one of the best, I can't even say person, but one of the best beings you can love. Self discovery. You are not a product of your visualizations. You are a product of your vision. But because you are so disconnected from your vision, your inner inspired, you become a product of someone else's imagination. So spend some time loving and discovering you. Spend some time in nature, especially near water. They have something called negative ions. Negative ions work on and help you to be calm. Research those things. Spend some time near water. Water is very calming. Negative ions help your body. So get around some water. Listen to the sounds of water. Trick your mind. Look at some videos with it if you can. Hack your mind. What type of images can you create in this regimen? What's your morning regimen? What is your afternoon regimen? What type of content is the first thing you look at? Most of us roll over. The first thing we look at is our phone. So the images begin to influence you the minute you open your eyes. Give yourself a regimen. I'm not going to touch my phone until after I do my morning regimen of deliberate content. I'm going to create uh, 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 a document with nothing but the kind of images, or I'm going to put in my phone the images of what I want to create that will influence me. I'm going to put an image of the trail that I want to walk, the mountain I want to climb, the bike that I want to ride, and then I'm going to do the act. And I'm going to visualize as I lay. Some of you are praying people. As I lay and I pray, or as I lay and I think and contemplate, or as I meditate, I'm going to see myself in the theater of my mind, riding, swimming, playing tennis. I'm going to look at my form. And then when I go out, I'm going to do it. Put those images in, put those videos in, put those sounds in. What are you going to listen to? What kind of schedule are you operating on? Are you doing a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. schedule? A 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. schedule? How are you governing your life? For those who think you have free time, how are you paying for your free time? Free time costs. How are you financing it? How are you financing your chill time? Put a schedule together. Create experiences that reinforce your goal. So you have the visuals in, you have the images in. How can you now reinforce those goals? You may have an accountability partner. Hey, man, I'm looking at these images. You're into running. I'm into running. What time do you go running? Let's go running together. Hold me accountable. You may have your alarm clock. You may have your images. If you don't want a person, get Siri, get Google. They have all of these apps. Use them. It's better to have a human being, but if you don't have that, create a way to be influenced and to be motivated and inspired to go into the physical experience, not just the visual. The visual is the caveat to get you to have the right image to inspire you. And then once you're inspired, then you now do the act, which reinforces that. That's getting your muscle memory into the habit of following the vision. Just like the chill and the complacency and the fear from the content that they give creates those things in your muscle memory. So when you evict those visions, you're now going to reset your muscles, and you now need new content so that you can have new habits. That's the hack. It's not going to happen because you're watching TV saying, man, I got to get up, got to get up, got to get up. Man, I really want something to eat. I got to eat better. It's not going to happen unless you put the right content in. They know that, so they put in content to influence you to pick your pocket using your own brain and your own wallet. That's the game. So an accountability partner, being around like-minded people that reinforce the direction you want to go in. Set your goals. Talk to your body. Have a conversation with your body. If something hurts, have a conversation with it. Words are powerful. Have a conversation. Kidney, I need you to work properly. We say it. You've heard it. Feet, don't fail me now. Somebody's talking to their body. So have a conversation with your body. Speak life into your body. Only put living food in your body if you can help it. What is living food? Fruits and vegetables. Put those things in your body because it gives you the energy you need. Let the foods, lots of greens, lots of red, lots of yellow. Put those things in your body. And also, and I'm not a medical doctor, so seek your doctor, but look at your blood type and see what is good for your body and what's not good for your body based on your blood type. Okay. So those are some of the healthy regimen things that you can take into consideration that you can do. What are the benefits of healthy content on the mind, body, and spirit? Here are some benefits. It can make you more introspective, give you introspection. It can help you self-discover. Okay? You can discover yourself. Okay? You can discover and learn more about who you are with the time now and the deliberate. It can help you breathe better. Why? Because you're not having all of these anxious moments. You're not having all of this unpredictable schedule. You're not having all of this anxiety because you've created the environment in your mind so you know what to expect. The anxiety comes from the unexpected and then being thrown off guard, and now you're in fight or flight because you don't have a schedule, because you don't have a deliberate control over the content. You're just floating, and that can put you in a very unpredictable space. Your circulation, move around. The blood flowing in your body is good. The blood flowing in your body is good because now it's moving through all the places it needs to move through. Stagnation causes things to back up, stink. If you are near a pond and the water is stagnant, you're going to get mosquitoes. You start attracting things. It builds up diseases inside of your bloodstream. Stagnation is not good. Let your circulation move around. Having a positive attitude can help you to live longer. There's a study, and we'll see it on one of the slides. Having a positive attitude is a good thing. It can help you live longer. Live intentionally, as we talked about that. The deliberate images, the deliberate environment, the deliberate company. Okay, live intentionally. Be present. Don't be distracted. Give your undivided attention if you can. Focus. This can help you have less need for medication because now you don't need one thing to offset another. If you're eating proper foods and living foods, maybe you don't need that cholesterol medication that's going to affect one part of your body. Then you're going to need another medication. You could come off of those medications because the original cause has been addressed. What's the original cause? Your mind has content that is affecting your health. Get to the mind. And a lot of times before it even gets to your mind, it's your spirit. You're not listening to your spirit. And so your body and your spirit is in competition. You're going against yourself. You're working against yourself. So you have less need of medication, better life expectancy. You'll attract the kind of things that you put into your mind and the kind of people that are more like yourself. You'll find your tribe. So those are some of the benefits. That picture to the right is a picture that I've taken in the interior of South America, Guyana specifically, and the picture doesn't even give it justice because there's a whole experience attached to that, and the vibe is so peaceful. You can see it in the picture, but on location is something else. Okay. So here's the study. Optimism It says a new study published Monday, and the article is at below, finds that men and women with the highest level of optimism have a 11 to 15% longer lifespan on average than those who practice a little positive thinking. The highest scoring optimists also have the greatest odds of living to age 85 or beyond. So negativity has to go. A lot of things that affect you don't even have anything to do with you. It's really minding someone else's business that has us in most of our disruption. Mind your own business. Mind your beingness. Go into you. Worry about yourself. Be positive. Be inspired. Look at inspirational content. Hack your brain. So what does it look like? What does the road ahead look like? It's two paths. You could go the light path. You could connect with nature. You could be deliberate. You can look at the introspection. You can look at your vision. You can be inspired. Or you can continue along the dark path. And you could be influenced. You can give up real estate in your mind for free for others to manipulate you and rob you of your own money. The money is spent before you even get it. You have to make that choice on what the road ahead looks like by making the right decision for you. In scripture, Proverbs 29:18, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. It doesn't say where there's no visuals, because there's plenty visuals. As a matter of fact, the visuals are created by people who had vision. You're living in a vision of someone else. You're on a platform that was created by someone's vision. So without vision, the people perish, because we wouldn't even be able to have this conversation. So what is your vision? How do you go in? How do you find? How do you hack? How do you influence? How do you inspire from internally and find your purpose and live a more fulfilling life? So for me, when it comes to visualize versus vision, I will always choose vision, because I will never let my eyes stop me from seeing. You don't need eyes to see. That's why when you close your eyes, you can have a dream. They say when you shut down your mind, when you're able to shut down your mind, that's when you're able to dream. That's when you're able to be inspired. Because we can be so smart, we can talk ourselves out of our vision. So to reach me, I'm on Facebook. You can find my fan page, Ask Chaashab Inc. Look me up, follow. We have an Ask Chaashab website. We'll be relaunching that probably within the next 30 days. We have to get through this 30 days. And then also make sure you follow the 30-day redemption. This was actual a vision. 30-day redemption was a vision that I had. And we were able to put it together. Okay. And so we're living within a vision right now. All right. So thank you all. I'm going to open up. If anyone has any question, be very happy to answer it. And if not, I hope that the presentation was up to par and inspiring for you all. I hope that content was inspiring, so that you can pursue a very fulfilling life. So I'm gonna open up. If anyone has any questions, we have about 4 minutes, and we could do some quick Q&A. Anyone? Thank you. I see someone says awesome presentation. Thank you very much. Excellent.
Hi, hello.
Says I'm wonderful. Yes.
Okay, I have a question. You had made a comment where going against your spirit, your body gets out of whack when you go against your spirit. And my question is, when you have these visions, how do you decipher that? Because if you're experiencing, let's say, a physical feeling, but yet you don't know if your vision is real or not, or you should follow or not, how do you decipher that?
How do you decipher if your vision is real?
Yeah. Like if you have a vision of something and something is happening, and do you just go with it?
I mean, the thing is, they say always trust your first mind. Um, you should never doubt premonition, because sometimes you can see things in your vision that is years before the time. So if you've ever said to yourself, man, I wish I would have followed my first mind. If you've ever said that, then my recommendation is trust your vision and trust your instinct, because it may not be, because sometimes when it comes to vision, it's not really about intelligence, and a vision is not really about intelligence. Intelligence is dealing with things after the fact and analyzing it. Vision is really faith, and you have to trust that vision. Okay. But also, let me say this: your vision should coincide with your talent, with your purpose. If you have a random vision that is not in sync with your purpose, then you need to do some self examination. And here is a great exercise. You have your vision, okay? Then you have people who you trust that you can counsel with. So that's a second layer. So you have the vision, then you have someone who you counsel with, and then you also have, for the people who are part of the faith community, you have your prayer that you can ask for additional guidance. So you have these checkpoints. So never deny yourself trusting your instinct, your gut, your vision. But if you're unsure, have people who you counsel with, and have other like prayer or other, you could do research to just see the feasibility of what it is that you have in your mind. But never just shut it down. Always look deeper into it. And if you're unsure, find a counsel or counselors or mentors, um, or prayer, and ask for additional guidance, or do research, and you'll see that you'll get better answers than just the feeling. Okay. So thank you for that question. I'm going to go, and I have one more question that I'll answer. We're at that 1 hour mark, but I'll answer one more question if every if any. Anyone else? Okay. Someone mentioned in the chat and said, I feel like I can really relate to always cautious what I allowed to be worthy, what I allowed to be worth my attention. This is the reason why I don't let people put um, in my unconscious information to affect me. And yeah, you do have to be very careful. I use the example, um, and I always use this example. Those who know me, I always use this example, and I say, you would not give someone the PIN number to your bank account. You could have $20. Your bank account could be in the negative right now. You still won't give someone your bank card and the PIN. Just off of the principle of that's private, that's my money. Okay? So if you wouldn't give someone the PIN number to your bank account, why would you give someone your phone number to access your ear that's so close to your brain? Your phone number is the PIN to your spirit. So if someone does not deserve access to your bank account, then surely they do not deserve access to your spirit. So I'll leave it with that. Thank you all for your time. I hope that this was an inspiring presentation. I hope that you take the information and you utilize it to your best benefit. One of the future presentations we'll do, we have until April 10th to do more presentations on the mind. We're going to put a dream board together. So for those of you who are interested in that, look in your emails for the updates. It may be tomorrow or it may be Saturday, but we'll be putting together a dream board. So gather all your newspapers, a flat background, and be ready to put together a dream board of your vision. Thank you again. I appreciate you all, and we will talk soon. So take care.
Take care.